Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I just wanted to do a little bridal tutorial. This is going to be a very in-depth, chatty tutorial. I wanted to give all the tips and just advice that I think are valuable to any bride doing their makeup for their wedding day, or if you're going to have someone else do their makeup. I just kind of add in my little bits of information that I think would be helpful. And then I did this look if anyone was interested in creating exactly this or just wanted some inspo and some guidance. So yeah, it's a long one. Grab a snack, grab your wine, grab your water, I don't know. It's gonna be a long one and I can't wait to edit it, but definitely hope you guys enjoyed this. And if you would like maybe some different eye combinations, like color combinations for bridal makeup, let me know and I can definitely do some shorter tutorials now that I've gotten all my words out in this one. So yeah, if you'd like to keep watching, then keep watching. Alright, I also want to say that I'm sorry if the lighting kind of gets like warmer and cooler. I do film in front of a window, in front of natural light, so it's kind of being like cloudy and then sunny the next minute, so I'm sorry if that's happening. So when thinking about the makeup you're going to wear for your wedding day, I would suggest spending a lot of time ahead of time thinking about your base, specifically primer, foundation, and concealer. Those things are really going to make or break your overall look. Products can sit not good on top of each other. Some products don't mix well, things like that. So I do recommend products like that, concealer, foundation, primer, you buy ahead of time, at least I would say maybe 2 months ahead of time, and wear it consistently to see if you like that, to see if these products go well on top of each other. Additionally, if you are going to be using a lot of cream products, if you would like cream products, maybe you have drier skin or you just like the way they look, try those out. Sorry, I'm having a hard time speaking today. Try those out in advance as well, because you never know if something's going to sit weird on top of each other and maybe not blend. So definitely pick out your favorite foundation or try samples from Sephora or Ulta, anywhere like that. They should be able to give you little samples so you can try it out at least before buying it. You spend a lot of money on your wedding day and you want to look nice and you want to feel beautiful. And you don't want to take pictures and look back on them and realize your foundation was way too dark or that you had dry spots that you had never seen before. So I definitely recommend your base products, trying them in advance and learning what you like. So overall, I would recommend something a little bit more luminous, not necessarily dewy, because I know there are girls out there who have oily skin and who do not enjoy a very, shiny complexion, but overall luminous, like just something that has maybe some reflect or some pigment in there just to make you look a little hydrated and youthful. In photos, that's going to translate really well rather than completely matte skin. Now, if you do love matte and that's just what you want to do, totally go for it. By no way in this video am I saying if you don't do your makeup the way that I say to do it, then your makeup looks like crap on your wedding day. No, most important part is probably just feeling like yourself on your wedding day. But if you do want a little bit help and you feel like maybe your skin's looking a little dull in photos sometimes, maybe try some illuminating products. And like I said, try them out in advance so you can see if, they work well with your skin type and things like that. But I like things like this. Like this is their Rare Beauty Always an Optimist primer, illuminating primer. So this is really nice, especially if you have dry skin. It has some little reflect in it. I'm sure you can see it's kind of shiny on my hands. It doesn't go like that crazy. You are going to cover this with foundation, so don't forget that. But this is really nice, and it has a nice hydrating base to it and just kind of gives your skin a little bit of a pearlescent finish. Just so even if you went on top of it with a matte foundation, you have some hydration in there and you have a little bit of luminosity peeking through. And then if you want to up that, if you really are into the luminous and you want to lean into that, I would recommend something like this. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. It's basically like a very natural liquid highlight, and I like to just apply this underneath my foundation in my highlight areas And this just kind of helps give your skin a little bit of an extra glow. There's a mirror right here and there's a mirror right here. So if I'm looking off, I'm sorry. I know that can be kind of annoying. You can just take something like that and blend it in. And like I said, if you're going to cover this up with a matte foundation, it's not like you're going to be able to see these products a lot, but they could just add that little bit of an extra touch of luminosity and glow on your wedding day. Everyone wants to glow, whether that means to you like being very luminous and dewy, or whether that just means like a bridal youthful glow. So just blend that out, and you can see it didn't really do much. It just kind of helps the appearance that I have healthy hydrated skin, when in reality my skin is very dry and very dull. Also, it might not look the best in this video because my skin's going through it right now, but it's not about me, it's about you beautiful bride. So for foundation, like I said, I cannot directly recommend a foundation to you because I'm not sure what your skin is like and things like that. One that I've really been liking is the Makeup Forever Reboot, and I feel like this finish is a good example of bridal makeup. This is probably like a medium coverage foundation with a very soft luminous. It's not super shiny, and it doesn't have like pearl pigments in it or anything, but it does have like a very nice like dewy skin-like texture. And I would say you don't have to feel the pressure to go completely full coverage. Like I said before, you need to feel comfortable in the makeup you're wearing for your wedding day, because if you don't, it doesn't matter how beautiful your makeup looks, you might just feel a little self-conscious, and that is just not the day, honey. It's not the day. So I'm just going to be blending this in. So yeah, I really like this foundation. I like it when my skin's doing a little bit better, but it doesn't feel super heavy. That's important too. Like if you're going to be getting married outside, you don't want something that feels really gross. Or even if you're getting married inside, you don't want something that feels heavy and that you're just like walking around feeling like you have a mask on. Because like I said, if you're not used to something like that, it could really translate into you feeling insecure, and we don't want that. So with this foundation, you'll notice it's not covering up everything, and I'm okay with that because I think bases look a lot better, on me at least, when I have a little bit of a softer foundation look and I cover up what needs to be covered with concealer. Basically, if you're applying foundation and you're caking it on to try to cover certain areas of your skin that you don't like, all you're ending up doing is building the coverage in the places where it already looks perfect, and it's still going to be a difference. Like there's still going to be a noticeable difference in where the foundation went over the skin that has no issues and the skin that does have issues. So you're basically just going to be piling and piling on product that isn't going to get the look that you want to achieve. Now for concealer, like I said, again, I'll keep reiterating this, definitely try everything out beforehand, things like this, the concealer, the foundation, everything. But I would definitely recommend, if you have under eye circles, or even if you don't and you just want to look very nice and bright under the eyes, because sometimes, especially in photos, we can look pretty dark under there. It's kind of just a hormonal thing, especially for women. It can also be genetics if you have dark circles. I would definitely recommend an under eye corrector. So this is the BECCA one. I really like it. It comes in two shades. One is light medium and the other one's medium deep. But I know a lot of brands make them. If you are deeper complexion, you definitely need a darker, more of a peachy red undertone if you're suffering with some pigment under your eyes. But I would recommend something like this, and it's really simple. You don't have to cake it on. I really like this formula because it's just the pot, and it kind of feels like gel on your fingers. And you can basically just put it where you need it. So I have darkness in the center. Sorry, I'm not flicking you off. And then I have darkness right like underneath right here. So I kind of just like tap it on there first. And then you can kind of like just see where you have a little bit more darkness. So maybe the outer corners of the eyes. Just be careful with a product like this. If you do have any like lines or wrinkles, you definitely want to have a very small amount of something like this and really press it into the skin. You don't want to really swipe, you want to press, because that's going to help it not crease into those lines and highlight them, because we don't want to highlight them. We want to, maybe not hide them, but we just want to be feeling our best. So now I have the corrector, and you can see what that already did to my eyes. It really opened them up, and it got rid of a lot of that pigment. So now our concealer is not going to have to work as hard. This is a concealer that I really recommend. It's the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer. This is a pretty high coverage but thin formula, so it's not going to look super cakey. I also do have pretty dry under eyes, and this one seems to work well as long as I don't use too much of it. So you can see when you pump it out, it comes out with quite a bit. I'm going to take like probably half of that on my finger and then just go ahead and do like 2 little dots. And you can kind of blend it out with your finger a little bit. Make sure you don't have too much on there. And you can go ahead and apply it to highlight areas. I definitely recommend applying your concealer to some area other than your under eye, just so it evens it out, especially if you're going lighter in tone. That's why it's important to practice these things ahead of time, or get with a makeup artist and have a trial or a couple of trials, because you don't know how things like this are going to look on you. You might be someone who doesn't like a super light highlight. I don't. I feel like I'm very fair, so I feel like if I go too light with my concealer as a highlight, it ends up looking kind of ghostly on me. And I'm just taking the concealer as well and applying it to anywhere where I feel like I need it. And I have redness on my cheeks, so I'm going to drag whatever's left, like kind of blend down from my under eye before I blend it onto the cheek. So when I go over with my beauty blender, it'll kind of cover that up as well. You could also use your concealer as a eye primer. I have a separate eye primer that I prefer to use, so I'm going to avoid putting my concealer on my eyelids, just because I don't want them to look too crepey, and like I said, I have drier under eyes, so this might be different for you. And then I'm just going to take whatever left on my beauty blender and really work it in, like really work it into the sponge so there's not much. And I'm just going to kind of dot over my cheeks and like my chin, like jaw area, and just kind of work it in. Very thin, very small, like you're barely even applying product at this point, but and if you have anything extra you'd like to cover, this is a good way to do it. And in my opinion, I feel like this looks a lot better than if I were to just try to build a really full coverage foundation on, because it still looks like my skin. Obviously, I have this little guy. Hopefully, none of you have little guys on your wedding, but it's totally fine if you do. Everyone has it. And I just feel like it looks like skin-like when you just slowly layer products, very thin layers, rather than caking it all on at first, and then, you know, maybe mid-afternoon or mid-wedding, you're feeling like you're looking a little heavy on the makeup area. So, yeah. Alright, for powder, I do have a recommendation. This might not be everyone's style, but I really like the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powders. My shade is Ethereal Light. They have a bunch of shades of these, and they all kind of mimic a different lighting. But basically, they're just kind of baked face powders that have a very slight luminosity through them. They have like very subtle highlighters baked into them. So when you swirl your brush around, it kind of gives you a very soft powdered look rather than making everything super matte and super flat. It has a little bit of luminosity to just give you a nice glow. I don't find them to be shimmery or glittery at all, so I don't think they would photograph in the sun or anything badly because of that. Oh, the lighting's changing. Sorry, it's making me upset. But yeah, I would definitely recommend this. I have drier skin. Again, I'm going to keep saying that just as a little statement. So some of the advice I'm saying might work best for you if you have skin similar to mine. And you can just adjust based on that. So I'm going to go ahead and swirl my brush in here and very just lightly powder. If you have oilier skin, or maybe you're going to be getting married outside in a warmer climate, somewhere where you're going to be sweating, I would maybe recommend using a heavier duty powder, but make sure you're just trying it ahead of time, because you don't want anything that you haven't used before and it ends up not being good. So I just do a very light dusting, even under my eyes. I like to use this under my eyes. I know a lot of people like the Laura Mercier setting powder, the translucent powder. That one is a really good one. It's a little dry for me, but like I said, everyone is different, and that one might be great for prolonging your makeup. I prefer to do a little bit of powder and more setting spray, because I feel like powder makes me look dry and accentuates things that I don't want accentuated. And I like that powder too because creams can kind of still sit on top of it because I applied so little of it. So next I feel like I should just go into bronzer and like contour. Obviously, everyone does their contour and prefers different tones, different shades. If you're deeper than me, you're probably going to want something a little bit warmer. I prefer more of a cool tone, so a product that I really like is the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Contour Wand. This is a perfect combination of cool and warm tones for me. I don't think this would be a good option if you are much darker than me. Just because you might feel like the cool tones pull out more of an ashy gray tone, and you don't want that. So this has a perfect amount of warmth where it doesn't make me feel ghostly or anything like that. Just use something you're comfortable with. If you're not comfortable with creams, there are tons of bronzer, like powder products on the market that will be perfect for you. I know some popular ones are the Marc Jacobs Tantastic, the white packaging. Hoola is a really great product. I can even use that. It gets a little orange on me when I'm really fair, so I kind of stay away from it as of right now. But that's a great one, and they have different shades as well. So just find one that complements your skin. And yeah, so I like to do this. I recently posted a video on how I like to do my contour, and I do it a little bit differently just because I don't feel like I have a lot of angles to my face. If you have a very sculpted face and you feel like your cheekbones always look nice with contour, apply your contour however you're used to doing it. Alright, so this is probably a little bit of a scary product to on camera, but I promise it blends out really nicely. Also, go ahead and do your jaw. Don't do too much. You want to make sure everything is blending down your neck because you're going to have that beautiful white dress on, and you do not want to have something stark white, your face, and then a weird color in between because you didn't blend down your neck. No foundation is going to match you absolutely 100% perfect, so just go ahead and bring everything down the neck just in case. So this is pretty, like, this step is more of like a to each your own. I don't think anything that I'm doing is remarkable or really specific to a bridal makeup. Oh, I need to wet my beauty blender. Also, to my blondes out there doing something like this, be careful with your bronzer. I would definitely recommend maybe getting a headband or having whoever's doing your hair or something have some kind of blocker for your baby hairs, especially if you're a platinum, like all over blonde like I am. Just be careful because bronzer and stuff can make you have orange like right on your hairline, and you might not notice it in the mirror, but in photos it could pick up as like kind of like an orange halo around your face, and we don't want that. Alright, so that is my cream bronzer applied. It's kind of my contour and bronzer in one. I do like to go ahead and set it with a powder as well. This will not only help, you know, just build more of like a natural, and maybe not natural, but I feel like layering always gives like a nicer look, as well as it will prolong the wear of your contour just by setting it with an additional product. So I like to use this. It's the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow Duo. This is the little mini they have at Sephora. That's also a good idea if you want to pick something a couple months ahead of time to try. You could always try to see if they have a smaller size of it, because most of the time that will last you a very long time, long enough to try it and get married. So definitely look for, if you're wanting to try a little bit more of an expensive product, see if they have a little bit of a smaller size, because that would be a great way to save some money. Alright, now we're ready for blush. Now you could definitely do the same kind of thing where you go on with like a cream and then a powder. Blush is going to be the first thing to fade. So whether you have a makeup artist or you're going to do your makeup yourself or a friend is doing it, make sure you have that person or your products on standby, because if you're going to do your photos like between your ceremony and reception, there's a chance your blush could already be faded depending on what time you got your makeup done. For some reason, blush just does not last on the skin as like cheek products, so like that's why I like to go in with powders on top of the cream. So usually I like cream products, but I always would recommend for a day like your wedding, setting those with a powder just so you can have those compacts with you in case you need to just reapply, especially before your photos. Obviously, just find, if you want to wear a nude blush, just find one that fits your complexion. Anyone can wear anything, it's just a matter of finding the right product. So I I like a palette like this because you can kind of mix all the shades together to get your perfect one. I'm going to go ahead and mix this shade with this middle shade and maybe pop a little bit of this just on the apples just to be like very blushy and bridal, but anything you want is fine. I would just recommend maybe going a little harder on the blush application because it will fade. Alright, and for highlight, it all depends, again, on preference. I know I keep saying that, but that's just important. Some people might prefer a very blinding highlight, and for those, I would recommend something like the BECCA highlighters or maybe the Anastasia ones if you have any of those. I don't know if she even sells those anymore, but definitely the BECCA ones give a very like bam appearance. For those softer people, I would recommend maybe something like the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter, or even you could use the Hourglass powders as highlighter if you really did your brush in there and apply it in a certain area. It can give a very soft, just glow if you don't want any shimmer, if you feel like shimmer is not your thing. I'm going to go ahead and use this. This is the Rare Beauty one in Enlightened, and I'm just going to dab it on my cheekbones, down the center of my nose. Obviously, if you do not like a shimmery nose or something like that, don't apply it there, because in a photo, if you go ahead and just apply highlighter just because you think you have to and you don't like how that looks, you're gonna not like it. So, alright, so we're pretty much done with the base. You can see mine is pretty like luminous and very like not natural because we obviously have makeup on, but very nothing crazy. So this is just how I would want my makeup to look. Obviously your color choices might be different and your intensity level might be different. Like I said, you be you. Everyone should be themselves. Don't get like into the kind of hype of like, this is the only kind of bridal makeup. If you want to wear purple eyeshadow on your makeup, if you want to wear purple eyeshadow on your wedding day and you know that looks good on you and you like it, then wear it, because 20 years from now when you look at your photos, you're going to like it because you were like, yeah, I really like purple eyeshadow. So yeah. Alright, I kind of brought you all a little closer because we're going to do the eyes. So I'm going to start off with the Matte Painterly Paint Pot. I do recommend an eye primer just because weddings can tend to be long and you want your eyeshadow just to blend and to stay put. You don't want to put any effort into your makeup just for it to wash away. Obviously, if you're going to be crying and stuff, some of it could get smudged. There's no really such thing as waterproof eyeshadow, so if you're going to be a teary bride, it's fine. But eye primer does help the longevity and also helps the shadows look nicer on the eyes. So I like this one, and I really like the Urban Decay Primer Potion. You can get that in a small size as well if you'd like to try it out ahead. For my eyeshadow today, I'm going to be using the Robin D. Kristi Pure palette. This is not available anymore. I'm just using this simply for very simple colors, and I have them all in this little compact. I'm also going to be using some eye toppers and stuff like that. So use any colors you have like this, and if these are not your colors, then that's fine. I'm thinking about maybe doing this video as like my in-depth one and then doing some different eye tutorials just based on color story, because this one's going to be a little bit more romantic, kind of pink. And I know like my sister's getting married and she kind of wants more of like a bronzy gold and like champagne look. So I think there's a lot of different versions of this that I kind of want to do. So let me know if you'd be interested in that. But this will be my overall very in-depth, very detailed bridal tutorial. So yeah, we're going to basically only be using these shades down here on this side. I'm going to be using this first one just to set my eye. I like to do this just so it doesn't, just so my eye base gets kind of dried down and nothing kind of gets choppy. Like I said, you do not need a certain palette. You just need to find shades like this. So if you want to create this, that is, you can use your favorite palette, whatever you like, whatever eyeshadows you like. You don't have to do a crazy eyeshadow look if you don't want to. So you can see that kind of just brightened up. I really like that color. It's a very pigmented skin tone shade. Use whatever skin tone shade you have that fits you. And I'm going to be going in with the same brush and this pink color right here. It's like a dusty cooler toned pink. It is a beautiful shade. These shades blend really well. I would recommend just having an eyeshadow that you think performs really well. And I'm just going to be applying this all in my crease. It is a pretty soft shade, so you can kind of just go for it. And this is going to be a very simple tutorial. I don't think bridal makeup really necessarily needs to be very difficult. It just needs to be something that you feel pretty in. And to me, this is what I feel pretty in. So as soon as I got this palette, I knew I wanted to do a tutorial like this because I did my makeup like this actually when we were at a wedding and I was just a guest and I did it and I was like, this is like such a romantic look. I kind of like to bring my eyeshadow out and just like meld it into the rest of my face makeup. Obviously, that's just me. I just think that creates a more natural look. You want to blend because in photos, lines and stuff can look kind of weird and sharp. So I would recommend just getting some fluffy brushes and really just taking your time and blending the heck out of your eyeshadow. So I'm just building up that pink shade until it is what I want. And I am going to kind of put it on the outer corner as well. So just on like the outer half of the lid and then all over the crease. Alright, next I'm going to be taking this dark brown color. Any espresso brown will work, and I'm taking kind of a really tiny pointed crease brush, and I'm going to start putting this on the lash line and kind of building it into the outer corner. I like to start from the lash line because it is going to build depth for when we finish off our eyelashes and everything, but it also just helps apply the most pigment kind of somewhere where it won't be seen. Just in case things get too dark, you can kind of just like work the product up and it looks really seamless. So I don't know if you can kind of see, but really easy technique. This is nothing groundbreaking. Just kind of working it into the lash line on the outer half and into the outer corner so you can kind of see. Alright, so that's what we got on both eyes now. It's kind of like trying to go for that wing shape, but we're not quite there yet, and that is kind of a personal choice. If you are not good with eyeliner and you are doing your own makeup, you could totally just take that same shade that I used with a brush like this, a like angled brush, and mimic a wing just using the eyeshadow. I think today I'm going to go in with eyeliner. I'm going to be using a brown eyeliner. This is just a L'Oreal one that I like. I like brown because it'll look a little bit softer for me, and I'm not really used to wearing black eyeliner on a day-to-day basis, so I think I feel more comfortable with brown. But any color would work. Whatever your kind of style is, just go for it. So I'm going to probably start the wing or the liner in the middle of my eye because I want the center and the inner to be more bright and open. That just complements my eye shape. If you have more of a round eye shape, you probably can do eyeliner all over and that will still give you a very open effect, but I like to keep my inner part of my eye open just because that looks nicer in photos on me and it doesn't close off my eye. So I'm just going to be applying the liner really close to my lash line and doing a tiny wing. I'll have to just show you when I come back because I cannot do it on camera. Alright, so I went ahead and did the liner, and then I just took that little angled brush I showed y'all, and then I put the brown shade just right on top of it. One, because the eyeliner wasn't cooperating, and two, just it gives more of like a natural kind of smoky look if you want it to be a little bit more sultry. Right, and personally, I think this is really pretty, just matte eyeshadows, but I do want to add a little bit of sparkle, and I have two things here I would recommend. One being the Urban Decay Space Cowboy Moon Dust eyeshadow. These are very sparkly, and they come in a bunch of shades, so you could find one that would match your eyeshadow look perfectly. These are going to be a little bit more intense, I would say. And then I have this, the PILLOWTALK Charlotte Tilbury like jewel, I think it's like a jewel eyeshadow topper or something. It doesn't have the name on the packaging. I'm sorry. Everything will be linked down below, by the way. And this one just kind of fits my color scheme a little better. It's more of like a neutral pink. And for this, I'm just going to be applying it with my finger. So I just take a little bit and I'm just going to spot it mostly on the inner corner. Like I said, you could keep this totally matte if you wanted to, and if you don't want any sparkle, Alright, so that's how it looks with the added sparkle. Just to top everything off, I'm going to go back in with that skin tone shade, or my skin tone shade, and I'm just going to apply that right underneath the brow bone and a little bit in the inner corner. You could definitely do a shimmery inner corner and a shimmery brow bone, but that is just not what I'm feeling right now. I might apply a little bit of highlighter to them, but we'll see. Yeah, I'm just going to grab a little bit of a brighter highlight because I don't want that pink shade, and I'm just going to apply it right in the inner corner. And this will really look nice in photos too. It'll just bring a nice little brightness to your eye. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Now we're going to get to lashes. I do have mascara on already because I filmed before I filmed this one, but you have a lot of options when it comes to mascara, especially now. So you could definitely just do mascara if you feel like you have nice lashes and you like how they look and you're just not comfortable with anything else. Totally, that would be fine. My top recommendation for mascara would either be the Milk Kush mascara or the Lancome Monsieur Big. I really like the Monsieur Big one. They have a waterproof formula as well. I think they both have waterproof formulas, but definitely waterproof. Even if you're not a crier, you might be on your wedding day. So I'm just going to finish up my lower lash line, and for that all I'm doing is taking that same pink shade and running it tightly underneath. I don't like to super defined under lower lash line, but totally you could do something more smoky, more sultry, or even sparkly under there. Alright, and you could also, if you're going to have lash extensions, I definitely would recommend getting them like one cycle before your wedding, just so you can experience them in their whole before you put them on, because they might affect the way you do your own eyeshadow, things like that. So I would definitely just try those out before. And then if you're going to do strip lashes, super easy, just practice beforehand. They also make little individual ones, like clusters, that I think are really nice and look a lot more natural than a full strip. So if you are a little bit more inexperienced or you don't want the dramatic effect of a full lash, definitely check out like little cluster individual lashes, because they're super easy. All you do is apply the glue and apply them where you want, and it's really easy to look in the mirror and just see where you need a little bit more fullness or length. But for me, I'm going to go ahead and go with a lash band, and I'm going to take these ones called Bella. They look a little rough right now. It's these ones right here. They're very short in the inner corner, and then they wing out. I think that complements my eye shape the best, and I do have the wings, so I want to accentuate the more volume on the outer and then less on the inside so you can see the glitter. So I will be right back. I'm going to go apply these. Alright, so I'm back. I applied my lashes, and I went ahead and just did my brows. The only thing I want to say really about brows is obviously do them the way that you feel comfortable, the way you always do them. The only thing I would really say is make sure you do something to them. If you don't usually do your brows at all, I would recommend trying to get some kind of a brow routine, whether it's just like a kind of like brow volumizing gel. That could help a lot with some pigment. Just make sure you're adding something to your brows, because especially in photos, it can look a little, I don't want to say weird, but like off if you have like a full face of makeup and you don't do your eyebrows. And I know some people just don't do them on a regular basis, but I would recommend trying to get some kind of brow routine down. Another thing I want to say about the eyes, just to add like a quick little tip, is I do want to say, like, to anyone who's watching that isn't familiar with eyeshadow and like doesn't do it a lot, but they are going to be doing their own makeup, or they want to know like what ideas to tell the person doing their makeup, a really easy way to think of like eyeshadow combinations that would look good on you is basically complementary colors always look nice. So if you have blue eyes, I would definitely recommend more like orangey or like coppery tones. Those really complement blue eyes. Green eyes, usually purples are really complementary to them. Purples and like kind of pinks. And if you have brown eyes, I think everything looks good. I think golds look really amazing on brown eyes, as well as blue tones, but I know sometimes that's maybe not the vibe for the wedding. But even like some navy tones on brown eyes, that can really bring, like if you did, instead of like a black liner, maybe like a really deep navy, it could really bring out your eye color. Complementary colors are a really easy way to just know what will work, as well as just I would just try out combinations. Look on Pinterest, just search bridal makeup, and you will find tons and tons of things. And if you see something you like, even if you don't feel like you're the best at eyeshadow, get a palette out, try out the colors. You'll be able to at least see if you're comfortable wearing those type of things or if you think they're flattering on you. And then you can tell your makeup artist or whoever's doing your makeup, if it's not you, how to do it. Also, there's plenty of other tutorials on this site. It's so amazing that have, you know, very specific bridal tutorials. I'm sure like there's tutorials for like every kind of makeup style under the moon on this website. So definitely just check out definitely just use your resources, Pinterest, YouTube, Google, go to the Sephora or Mac counter and ask someone. Like, definitely, this is not the time to be shy. Just, you know, if you have like a goal in your mind and you want your makeup to be really gorgeous, but you're just not really a makeup person, you can achieve that goal. You can learn, you can have somebody else learn and do it for you. So definitely just like screenshot, practice in front of your mirror, and I think that there's no way you can go wrong. But yeah, for me, I like to do the pinks because I feel like it makes my like blue eyes kind of have the green pop out in them, and I think that's really pretty, so I like that. Also, it's a very soft color on my complexion. Obviously, something like this wouldn't work for you if you're deeper. These tones might pull a little bit grayer on you, so you might need something a little bit more intense, a little bit more, you know, just different. So everything I'm saying, I'm kind of more focusing on the techniques and just the overall like tips and tricks rather than these specific colors. You do not need to do your makeup exactly like me to have bridal makeup. Anything that you want to do for your wedding is bridal. Alright, so the last thing we need to really do is our lips. And lips could be anything. Obviously, I think you should try to do something that complements the rest of your makeup. But if you don't want to do that, that's fine too. It's fine. I'm going to go with something a little bit more pink, a little bit more nude. So I'm going to try just layering up some stuff. I'm starting off with this Maybelline Superstay Ink Crayon in the shade Keep It Fun. And I really like these because they're super affordable, and also they kind of help you line your lips as well as fill them in. I would definitely recommend starting with some kind of lip liner or matte lip product. If you want to put a gloss on top, that's totally fine. I wouldn't recommend it if you're going out in the wind because your hair could get caught if your hair is down, but definitely a matte base will be nice because it'll stay on longer. You can use liquid lipstick as well. That's probably the most long wearing. I just hate the feeling of those on my lips, so I can't do it. I'm going with this Maybelline lipstick called Born With It. And then for me, this is a little too pinky, so I'm going to go in with this L'Oreal Macadamia, and I'm going to apply that to the center. I think this looks really pretty on a lot of people too, like doing a lighter color in the center. I think it gives a pretty look. And yeah, that is kind of how I would do my wedding makeup as of right now. Let's take these out. Alright, so yeah, that is my finished look. I hope you guys liked it. Really soft, really just like blended and natural. This is just my preference. Obviously, I just wanted to make this video in case anyone likes this look and they want to try to recreate it. Or if you just are looking for just some kind of way to start your journey for your bridal makeup, whether it's the tips or anything like that. Overall, I think stick true to who you are. If someone wants to tell you that like, oh, that's not very bridal, like, then you don't need that person telling you how to do your makeup. Like, no. But I just think this is a really pretty look. I think this would compliment a lot of people. And I think overall, I wanted to do this video to show that it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be super intimidating. You don't have to, you know, if you don't have the money, if you allocated your money elsewhere in your wedding fund, it is okay. You're not going to be completely lost without a makeup artist on your wedding day. Obviously, makeup artists are very talented, and if you can get one and if you want one, I would recommend it. But if you don't want it, if you want to do your own makeup, if you're really particular about certain things, or if you're just determined like, hey, I'm going to learn how to do my makeup and it's going to be beautiful, then I would recommend doing it. So yeah, basically like overall tips, get your base products ahead of time and try them out, try them out, because you don't want any surprises. I would definitely get a trial or 2 trials if you're going to have someone else do your makeup, just so you and them are on the same page and you know that you'll like their style, because you could see pictures of other bridals because you could see pictures in a portfolio, but they could translate differently on you and you could not like it. So definitely do a trial. Definitely just screenshot the heck out of Pinterest. I think that really helps people get some inspo, and it'll really help the other person or yourself just keep getting ideas on what kind of colors and what kind of things they need. But yeah, I would just recommend, you don't have to spend thousands of dollars on makeup. There are plenty of amazing things in the drugstore. I would say if you're going to spend a lot of money on certain items, I would definitely recommend it be your base and then maybe just a couple good quality eyeshadows, but I would just stick to what you love. So I hope you guys enjoyed this look. I know it was kind of a long one and it's gonna be forever to edit this, but yeah, that is my bridal makeup tutorial and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!